1-inch hardy hole out of 1-inch wide material, you'll need to make that tight. For my 1.25-inch hardy hole, I get to leave a little space in there. So that makes our hardy shank. Now I'm going to bend it over 90 degrees. There's our hardy shank and the part that will become the spring. Now I want to put a twist in this part. I'll show you why here. And then I'm going to bend that over. Of course, my twist untwisted a little bit. I can fix that. So if this is our bottom butcher, this section becomes our spring, and when you get all the way to this end, this becomes our top butcher. I'm going to make sure this sits down nice and tight so the hardy hole is good and snug. Now we're ready to form the spring part. Now I think the ideal spring for a spring tool is somewhere between 1/4 by 3/4, which is what this spring is, and 1/4 by 1 1/4, depending on how big the tool is. We're just going to keep working that. So we now have a much longer spring section here. Now this is way more drawing out than I anticipated. And I'm not going to lie to you, I took this to the power hammer because I wasn't going to spend an hour or 2 hours drawing this out. Next thing I want to do is put a twist in this end so that that's in the same plane as the bottom side of the butcher. You want to make sure you get the bevels on the same sides. These are mirror images of each other. And we'll finish this up with a file or grinder. We have our bevel started on this side. This is going to loop around and make the spring, and that'll match the bevel that I forged on this other side. So the next trick is to bend this. So we'll get this center section hot, put it back in the hardy hole, and bend that over and make these ends line up. I'm just going to put that in the anvil and bend this around kind of by hand and by eye. Straighten things out as I go. And I'm going to reheat this section, and I'm going to drop this down to forward that top ring, and that should help pull this end in. If it doesn't, we'll line this all up afterwards. For this, a hunk of pipe welded to a hardy stem is sure handy. So I've got that all lined up and the spring set, and it looks like it's going to be a functional tool, so let's try it out and see what we get. A lot of spring tools can be kind of bouncy like that. Not a big deal. It's definitely going to be easier to get the line up than the bottom butcher only. So I like that aspect. So it's absolutely a functional butcher, leaving a nice clean shoulder. I said we would also do a spring fuller. And we're going to just start with a piece of 1/2-inch round bar. This is 40 inches long. It may not be long enough, but we'll find out. Make a 90-degree bend. Now I want to take this bend and bend it back again so that I have essentially a square bar. Real easy to start the bend right here in the hardy hole, where it's going to go anyways. It's a little problematic keeping what is now 4 round bars corralled, but it can be done. So just like in the spring butcher, I'm going to bend one out for the spring and bend one out for the bottom of the fuller. So this will be the part that sits on the anvil, and this will be the spring part. And this is where I didn't leave enough material. I'm going to have a real tight loop here, and it's not going to be as springy as I would like. I'm going to come back about here to start my bend in hopes that it has enough material here. I'm going to back bend it right here so that when I bring this around, I can end up with a fairly reasonable spring and arm there. Now I think this should have extended way further back there, but I still didn't match my other side. But nevertheless, that is a simple way to achieve a spring fuller with a Hardy shank.